Welcome to the Lady Nighthawk Show. And tonight, I guess I look like Lady Nighthawk, huh? Because have you ever seen me sitting here with a, well, I've had this do-rag on before, but with sunglasses on. Because I got so much going on right now in my life that, you know, I had to rush from here to rush to there and do this. And my son, I had to tell y'all this joke because my son said to me, "Where are you going?" Because he knew I had to come to his show tonight. And I said, "I'm going to the show." He said, "Do you realize you don't have your wig on?" A wig on, okay. Donald tell you people always.
When
they
people
watch
come
the
to
show.
my office, that's the first thing they talk about.
And I, you know, and people say to me, "Oh, I know you from your wig," you know, when I was out there. But anyway, I have a special guest. Let me let my host introduce himself, you know.
Well, thank you and good evening. And thank you for having me back on the show. My name is Donald Bell. I'm an attorney here in Maryland. I have an office here in Prince George's County. And I enjoy representing the people of Prince George's County. My office is located in Greenbelt, and I am happy to be back here this evening.
And I have a very special person that's here tonight. Out of all the people that I've reached out to, all of them are coming, okay, that we reached out to, but this person is the first, and I am so happy that she's here because I met her on a different platform at one point, okay, and I'm glad to see that she's here to spend this time with us because she could have been at another place. But I want her to introduce herself, and I know you know who she is because she wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for Bowie.
That's right.
Okay?
That's
all right.
right. That's
So
right.
Introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure, thank
Okay.
you. And
Thank
good
you.
evening, everyone. I'm Wanda Rogers, and I'm a member of the Bowie City Council, and I'm member-at-large. And at-large means that my responsibility is the entire city of Bowie. So I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. So thank you.
And we are so glad that you're here because it's a shame. Now I'm talking to my fellow Bowie residents. It's a shame that we have a city council that we want to blame everything on, you know. But we don't go to the council meetings, okay? That's so important. And I'm so embarrassed because I'm not going to sit here and say I was one, that I was there. No, I've been to 2 straight, and I'm planning on going to the rest because I see how important that it is for you. I see like other counties, like Montgomery County, and they have cameras out there when there's important stuff that they're trying to do measures and things on. But you know, we're not that small that we can't, you know, do big and great things. Okay, we had a police officer that I saw on the, and he's going to come. Okay, but they've been busy. Okay, that actually rescued somebody and they had it on the news. Well, we should have had that first, okay? You know, but he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
We're working on it. He's coming, and with the captain and for the fire chief, they're coming as well, and your other council member friends.
Great.
Okay, and the mayor.
Great.
Okay. The mayor got busy on me for a minute, so, you know, we're going to move that around for a second.
Right.
But we can say this now that he's actually running for the seat for the county council member, okay?
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't say anything before, okay?
Right.
But that's why he had not come, because he wanted to come.
Yeah, county council member-at-large.
At large,
right,
yes.
but he's at the county level.
Yes.
Right.
Now, explain that to us.
So the county also is comprised, such as Bowie. So Bowie they have a mayor. We have 2 at-large council members, Mayor and Dennis Brady, and then we have 4 districts within Bowie. District 1, Mike Esteve. District 2, DeFore Wolfley. District 3, Clinton Truesdale. And District 4 is Councilwoman Roxy. And I'll put in because I don't want to hatchet her name.
I think most of us know about Councilmember Roxy.
Yes, everybody knows Roxy. She's been around a while. In the county, it's sort of comprised the same way. The county actually has 8. I think it's 8 council seats.
Okay.
I don't, if it's not 8, it's 9.
Okay.
It's not even, so it's 9.
Okay.
And 2 of those seats are at large. One is encumbered by, I'm looking at his face. I'll come back to him.
It's okay.
Yeah, and the other is vacant. And that's where we have, I think it's 9 candidates that are running for the county council at-large seat. And that gives that person, whoever wins, they will be responsible for the entire county, almost 1 million people, and their needs and wants as residents of the community. Calvin Hawkins is the other at-large member.
Okay.
And our county representative is, and we're in District 4, and that's Ingrid Watson.
Okay.
So a lot of people have come up to me when they found out the mayor was running for county council, thinking it was city council at large, and it was like, well, he's already mayor, why would he run for at large? And so it's at a different level.
Yes.
So yeah.
And that needed to be explained, because I think it's a lot of people are going to get it confused with the Bowie City Council,
Yeah.
because he's a Bowie mayor, along with the Prince George's County at-large seat.
Right,
Right.
right.
And that's why I couldn't announce it, because he had to make that announcement first
Right.
before he could come onto the show, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And he'll, once we see what happens, then he'll come.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
visit with us.
And then the other question always that has been coming up of late is, if the mayor were to win, then what happens to his vacancy that's created here in Bowie?
Yes.
So right now we have a mayor pro tem, and that's DeFore Wolfley. DeFore would become an acting mayor until Bowie, the city, could have a special election to elect a new mayor. So that's how that works.
And so I'm glad you explained that, because I think that people kind of wondering, since he, if he leaves that seat, what's going to happen with the seat? And I'm glad that you explained that as
Yeah.
well. See how important it is for you to come right now?
That's
Because
right.
August the 6th is around the corner.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And so, guys, I'm going to say this to you. When I went to the first council meeting, there was a lot of people, because they were giving out awards and things, and we had representatives from the fire department, the police department, the city council, and members of the families and things, because they were giving out awards that night. And so you would have thought that, that's the way it would look most of the time,
Yeah,
right?
no.
So I went the next week, okay, to the council meeting, because I said, I'm a Bowie resident. I need to be sitting in the council meetings, okay? Just for everybody. And so I said I was going to make sure I'm going to tell you, it is so important that you go to those meetings to see what's happening in your neighborhood.
Yes.
It was one gentleman that was sitting in there, and he stood up. He came to both meetings, and he talked about one meeting about one thing that was going on in this community, and then the next time he came back, he talked about something else that was going on in this community, okay? Now, it's not a place or time where you have a verbal exchange. I just want to make sure that they understand that.
Right.
But they give you an opportunity to speak, and then they'll take it in. Tell me if I'm getting this wrong. This is what I've observed. They take it in, and they said, okay, we'll go back and we'll put it on our calendar, and we will discuss it, and we'll get back to you. Is that the way it goes?
Well, what normally happens is, so at a city council meeting, anybody can sign up to speak, because you have a right to. This is your public. This is your community, and so anybody can come and speak. You give them 5 minutes. You can speak on any topic. When I first became the president of the board of directors of the Bowie Chamber of Commerce, I got on there, and then somebody told me it's the first time it ever happened, because I wanted the community to know we had a Chamber of Commerce. I figured, well, this is the best way to do it. Let me do that. That was before I got elected. So
Right.
once I got elected, if it's something that's aligning with the chamber, I'll make a little comment. But it's a perfect opportunity to talk about your issues or concerns. Other than that, I've looked at other council meetings across the country. Yeah, no, across the country.
Okay.
People normally don't attend unless it's a hot issue.
Right.
But the way you stay engaged is, it's online. You can go look at the council meetings via YouTube anytime you want to.
Okay.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, you have elected 7 people in the city of Bowie to represent you. You can call us, email us, text us anytime you want with any type of question. No questions are too big or too small. If they're too big, I hand them over to the city staff, and they will do research and get the responses for us. If they're too small or very small, I just fire off the answers myself. But people should stay engaged. It's some folks that I hear from regularly since day one that I've been in office. I hear from them regularly. And sometimes it's to let me know things are problematic. Other times it's things are going well, thank you. But in order to affect change, the residents have to remain engaged. And so now on social media, residents will see a flyer that's come up. I know I've seen it on Facebook. I don't know where else it is, that talks about Bowie having a strategic planning initiative and asking the community to provide input into a vision. I mean, what better way to engage in your city than to actually help create a vision? So I'm hoping that people respond to that and engage and do that. I see people at events, you know, when we had Juneteenth, it was such a crowd, and Bowie Fest, you know, folks show up for that kind of stuff. But you're right, when it comes to council meetings, yeah, they can be boring, and yeah, they can go on forever.
But it's not boring.
Well, it shouldn't be.
It's not boring.
Yes.
Okay, it's a place, but also we need to make sure that they know what the steps are for them to be able to speak.
Yes.
Okay, because you just can't raise your hand and speak.
No, you got to
okay?
sign in at the city clerk's desk on the side. Sign in, put your name on there, and say, I would like to speak. That's all you have to do. It doesn't even have to be any pre-notice. Or you can email the city clerk beforehand, but otherwise you just walk in and sign in. And
And to get in touch with the city clerk, it's so easy, okay? And you can just call the main number, okay? And then as for the city clerk's office, her name is Ms. Hernandez, okay? And then you can speak to her, and you know, if you wanted to do it that way, you can. But it's easy. There's several ways. The point is, there's several ways that you can do that.
Absolutely.
And you only have 5 minutes,
right.
So make sure the 5 minutes are a good 5 minutes.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. And then also people can join city committees. We have 16 committees and advisory boards, and people can join those because that gives you an opportunity to provide input into what the council is doing and the leadership of the city. I serve as a liaison, a council liaison to 2 committees for the city, 2 city committees. One is the Green Advisory Committee, and it's everything green, you know, sustainability. And the other one is the Diversity Committee. And that is just to ensure that every voice is heard, people understand the differences and acknowledge them and welcome those differences within the community. And those 2 organizations have events. You know, they have things. They may not be as well publicized as the big Bowie events, but they do have events, and they have committees that you can come in and engage and actually have some input into the future of the city.
And I was for the second event, I think it was the second event, a gentleman he joined a committee.
Yes,
and
we swore him in.
And y'all swore him in.
Yes, and his wife had joined the week before a committee, and we swore his wife in on another committee. Yeah.
Okay, I saw that too. So I'm saying, so it's very important, guys, for you to go to the city council meetings, because you would be surprised at the topics and conversations, and then the progress from me asking to, let's say it might have been a few months ago, and now you see what the end results are, because they do give you a report. Okay, on something that somebody has asked. So it's important for you to go, and I will be, tell them how often the meetings are, because there's only one this month, right?
We didn't have any in the month of July. We take off July, but they're
in August,
usually, in August,
Monday.
Yeah, there's one this coming Monday, and then there'll be another one, I think, 2 weeks from that. So the meetings are usually every 2 weeks. I mean, that's the cadence, usually about every 2 weeks.
And it's at City Hall, right? And the meetings start at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, and they stay on target, they stay on task. Okay, so you know, and it's up to you as a citizen, if you're going to speak, to try to stay on task so that you can be there during a lot of time.
That's very true.
Okay,
that's very true.
And then respect for, you know, everybody that wants to have an opportunity.
The mayor's good about giving extra time.
He
lets people go on. But there's a couple things that are hot button topics for the citizens of Bowie, and at the top of that list is development. The city has has been a one of those bedroom communities, you know, whereby people come here because it's suburbs, and this is where their peace is. But the other part to that is, you know, in order to get businesses to come to the Bowie area, because you kind of figure with the per capita income as high as what we have, it might be like $120,000 per household or something like that. We should have more fine dining, you know, we should have more upscale stores. I hear this all the time. But one thing that if you talk to businesses, and we've had council members actually go out to the, you know, that international conference on businesses or retail, and, you know, businesses, they have to have the rooftops. If you don't have the people there that they believe, if you don't have the households, if you don't have like the educational support system, you know, if you don't have certain things in place, these restaurants are not, or these businesses are not going to come to Bowie, and that's what we're up against. So there's another conference coming up for businesses such as, you know, retail, restaurants, bigger businesses. It's coming up in.
Can you go back to that issue about the rooftops?
Yeah. So that means that. So for example, let me give you an example. Marketplace over on 450, where they have the Chick-fil-A and the Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
When they developed that shopping center, the part of the plan was, and I talked to the owner of the Chick-fil-A, he told me part of the plan was, and I knew this too, they were going to build some apartments behind that shopping center over there. The citizens of that area, and I think that's in District 2, did not want it there. And they were so adamant about it, they recalled their council representation. They recalled the person, right? And so, whereas the businesses thought they were going to get a certain number of folks walking through to buy stuff,
yes,
they didn't.
Yeah.
Because the apartments did not go up. Now, fortunately, you know, Harris Teeter has hung in there, because I think people like Harris Teeter, so I think we're attracting from other communities, and we're right across the line from, you know, Crofton, where they're situated. But for the Chick-fil-A, it was like, he said, I have downtime in the summer. And I said, well, how is that? He says, because most of my business is coming from the high school. Mm-hmm. The kids can walk up the street or drive from Bowie High School, and that's where most of my business is. When I first opened up here, I thought we'd have, you know, more, you know, apartments and stuff in the back here, and so therefore I would have more business. So business, and the same with Harris Teeter. Harris Teeter, I mean, they came expecting a certain number of households as well, rooftops coming in. So fortunately, the folks are still there. I also know the owner of the Tropical Smoothie there. And that was, I mean, it was a struggle for them to be there, because businesses go where they believe they have opportunities to make money, and they have the people there. But we as a community, I will just say this much, the city of Bowie, when I talked to the city the director over planning, he said it was about 80% developed. It might be even more than that. So we shouldn't expect any more big development going on. But even talking to some of those folks that were responsible for development, and, you know, talking about, you know, what is it of bringing a Popeyes over here in Mill Branch? You know, what's up with that? And so having a conversation with the developer said that, you know, I tried to get other restaurants to come in. Nobody would come in. Now, I don't know how much that is driven by the price or the cost per, you know, plat, whatever, or they, you know, people just didn't want to come into Prince George.
It's just interesting because Bowie has like one of the highest per capita incomes in the state, and the state has like one of the highest per capita incomes in the country. Yeah, yeah. So,
and what I hear from my Chamber of Commerce hat, What I hear is that the state probably is not as business friendly as it should be. And because it's not.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, and because it's not, the burden of the taxes, the tax base is on the residents.
Yeah.
We pay a lot of taxes
sure
in
do.
the state. And then we put Bowie on, Prince George's County on top, throw that Bowie on top of it.
Yes. And we do pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah, we pay a lot of taxes.
And that's why, in a way, I guess, and until you said that, I said, well, I wonder why they don't want outsiders into the studio, you know. And I'm saying, oh, I guess after you talk about I'm paying this tax, that tax, this tax, I should be able to do things in my own community.
Yeah.
But look, you've been here, I've been here for almost 21 years. Bowie, like you said, people moved out here because they wanted to be in the suburbs. Okay, it was nice suburbs because they wouldn't even let black folks in here for one let's call a spade, okay? They wouldn't even let us in here at one point. Their children even couldn't sell to us at one point. And when it changed, then, you know, people, it was close into the city. You know, so it was a nice place.
It's a great location.
A place to be, right.
Annapolis,
Accessibility.
Baltimore,
Absolutely.
D.C., Virginia's not far. It's a great location. It's
Accessibility.
a great community, yeah.
Now, Crofton looked like we look now, okay? I mean, for a long time, you know? And then all of a sudden, you look up, Crofton has everything that's down there. I mean, they have houses, townhouses. They have all kinds of places where you can, you know, in dining, you know, fast food, you know, movie theaters. Oh, let me get back to the movie theater, okay? They have movie theaters, and they have so many things that you have that place that you saw when you first moved here in Bowie, I would have never imagined that Crofton would have making a better place to be that's close by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said that correctly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So now, you know, it's kind of congested over here too.
Yeah, it is.
But the other thing I'll mention is that when businesses do come into Bowie to build, so we just had a ribbon cutting for Raising Cane over here on Heritage Boulevard and 301 right across from where BJ's is. They started building the same time Raising Cane down up Route 3.
Yeah.
They started the same time. The one up Route 3 has been open for about 8 or 9 months or so. The one here just opened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that has to do with the permitting process here in Prince George's County and how long it takes to get things approved. But not only that, when you have a community that does not want a lot of development, you know, people hear this and know this, and they rather not come into a community where, you know, people don't want a lot of buildings and stuff.
Right.
So, and not necessarily that we want it Raising Cane. I mean, I don't, you know, another chicken place is another chicken place, but they are good. But the thing is, you know, it took them a longer time to get built up, and that's the same, you know, that we're dealing with here. And even in Bowie Town Center, you know, those are not the types of businesses that we started out with.
Right.
And we want to get back to where that was.
Right.
And so that's just going to take work. And the council, I will tell you, council members that were there before me worked hard to try to bring some change about. And it just hasn't, it's just hard to do.
And the movie theater, because we only had one movie theater, and senior citizens, they love that movie theater, okay, even the non-senior citizens, because it, you know, it was a convenient place for young people when the first movies come out, you know, the first run for that weekend, you know, they know that they could go to the theater. And I loved it, okay? In fact, I went there one day thinking that it was still open and it was closed, okay? And then somebody said, oh, well, it's for renovation. And then somebody else told me, oh, no, it's not that, you know? And so I'm quite sure quite a few people tell me they still go up there because that they don't know that the movie theater is not closed. I mean, is there any particular reason why they closed the only movie theater that we had
Well,
here?
I think it was the volume of business. And remember, everything has to do with the bottom line, how much money you can make. And I think it was the volume of business once Crofton opened their theater up the street. people were going up there, and it wasn't. And then once you open these businesses, you have to invest in them. You got to keep them current, and you want to keep people coming.
Right.
And they didn't do a good job with that. Regal did not do a good job with that.
Okay, because I noticed the seatings are different in Crofton, we are, and the surround sound, and it's totally different. So
I hope it becomes a movie theater or an entertainment venue of some sort.
Yes,
again.
some sort.
That is my hope.
I hope.
But remember, anybody can buy it, and as long as it's zoned as it's zoned, it'll be what it is going to be. So,
but what about Sears? I didn't mean to interrupt you, because since you said the zoning thing, because
Sears.
I've heard Sears a couple of times. There was supposed to be a couple of different things.
Well, Regency Furniture is moving into Sears.
Oh, they are going to move into Sears.
Yeah. They're just waiting on permitting from the county. There's some things that they still have to do with the county.
But that would have been a fantastic place to have a movie theater.
Well, I think the one across the street was fantastic.
Well, it was fantastic. Well, it was fantastic for me too. I think it was fantastic. I love going to that movie. I go by myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's right in the neighborhood.
The amenities are what makes the community. You know, the amenities.
Yes.
And when you get it right, I'd love to have a bowling alley or something. You know, there used to be a bowling alley. That's gone. Yeah.
So
I understand.
Guys, you need to go to the city council meetings, okay? So that they know, in the strategic planning, like you're saying, be a part of that process, go in there and fill out the survey, so that you can let them know what it is that you really want to do. Now, I am so glad too that you explained to me that Bowie has nothing to do with all this development that's going on with these.
We don't even have zoning authority.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make recommendations, because development is the hugest deal for these communities. Everybody is just like, so we can make recommendations, yes or no, but usually the decision is already made. And remember, as long as we live in a capitalistic society, as long as you have the money, you can buy and do whatever you want to do with your land. That's part of our freedoms.
Right.
Even if it's a business, that's part of our freedoms.
Right.
So you can't tell people if it's zoned for certain thing, you cannot tell people they can't put that certain thing in that area. So that's a big deal for folks to understand. It's hard. And then they put the little signs so you can't see it when they have the public meetings. So there's a website out there, and I don't have the information, but if somebody's interested in knowing where they go to the website to see what's coming down the pipe, they can, reach out to us.
Hearings.
Yeah, but you have council members that are representing you. Please reach out to us. Email us, text us, call us. And I'm quite sure the ones that watch programming like this are the ones that email, text us, and call us. But tell your friends to do that as well, because that's what we're here for. We're here to represent you, and the best way to do that is when we hear from you. So I thank you for the opportunity to even kind of chit-chat about what we do.
And I'm so glad that you're here, because like I said, every time I ride up 301, I said, why are they putting all those, apartment buildings and townhouses on that side of the road when we could have a movie theater? See, my thing's the movie theater, or the bowling alley, right? Or in-seating dining that we had, and I'm glad that now guys, that wasn't Bowie. That land belongs to somebody else that they sold, so that's not Bowie that made that construction over there, because I'm quite sure if it was in my mind, I'm quite sure it was in a whole lot of other people's minds as well. So now you first heard it from here.
Yes.
That is not something that Bowie had anything to do with, all that construction that they have over there for those townhouses.
And that
things.
started, they bought the land and started that construction over for that particular area and South Lake over 20 years ago.
Okay.
And then Melford down further, that started about 16 years ago. So this happened, long before now.
We ever thought about it?
Yeah, long before.
But I'm glad now we know.
Yes.
Because when you ride up and down that, that's the first thing. They took my movie theater away and they putting houses over there.
Yes.
That's the way I think about it.
Oh, wow.
But I'm glad you're here to clear that up for us. So Donna, was there something else that you wanted to ask?
No, I just want to say thank you and good night.
All right, good night.